While plenty of travellers were heading into Auckland, New Zealand's best off-roaders were gathering at Colin Park in Manukau for the Mickey Thompson New Zealand Stadium Off-Road Championship season. The work the county's Manukau Off-Road Club and promoter Tony McCall had put in has paid off in the first season back after COVID, and the future is looking bright.
Yeah, every year it's getting better. We're getting more and more competitors. We've got a lot of trucks and cars coming in from the States and running, so it's just picking up some momentum. So as long as we can keep the momentum going, next year we'll have a 3-round deal, 3 tally shows, same gig, you know, so it should be good.
With a new purpose-built stadium track a stone's throw from New Zealand's biggest city, it's a chance to grow the sport. One class that seems to be thriving are the pro trucks. A classic example, Mad Max Racing's Ricky May.
Two years ago I got this thing from America, and having looked back at it, the best thing I ever bought. I used to be in Challenger and sort of progressed my way up in the racing industry, and then I've got this thing and it's just flawless. I love it.
This is a hell of a step up from a Challenger, if you don't mind me saying.
100%, yeah, definitely. It took a while to get used to, but it's just, I sort of just got used to it that quick, eh? It's so nice to handle, everything just looks smooth, eh? It's awesome.
There are 3 classes that make up the Pro Trucks, the fire-breathing Pro 4s, Pro 2 and Pro Lights. Driving the Shane Cullen Construction 887, the hard-charging Nick Leahy.
I think I'll go back to win it and bin it. It seems to work better for me. I tried to play safe last time and it didn't work, so I'll just, we're here to entertain, so we'll put on a show for sure. The track's pretty slippery at the moment, so I think the first heat might be a bit chaotic, I would say. Then the track will come right and there'll be some good racing, I'm sure.
The man to beat in the Pro Light trucks is past New Zealand #1, Nick Hall.
We've had the truck together for over 10 years now. We had teething difficulties when it first started, and we've got everything together now, and she's a good package, and I know when she's on song and she knows when I'm on song, and we have a good day's racing when we work together.
The Great Days Racing kicked off under sunny skies with the trucks, and it was the feast competitors Nick Hall and Nick Leahy away together, with Hall sweeping around Leahy to lead over the tabletop. By lap 3, Boston Morgan Horan and Dad's Big Black Motorsport Nissan was second, with Nick Leahy, Bruce McEwen and Ricky May in a titanic struggle for the minor spots. By the closing stages of the 5-lap journey, Leahy had moved away to be comfortably third, with the bodywork flailing May now in 4th. By the last lap, the battle for the last step on the podium was well and truly on. Meanwhile, Nick Hall picked up an easy win, with Boston Morgan Horan in second. So on to heat number 2 now, 5 laps for the Carlton Hire Pro 4s, the Repco Pro 2s and the Cooper Tyres Pro Lights. On the front row it is Ricky May, Boston Morgan Horan alongside him in the gold Big Black Motorsport Nissan, and it's Horan that goes into the front as they head down into the Lucas sweeper for the first time, but diving up the inside, maybe using the nimbleness of the Pro Light. And a bit of contact there as Horan gets into the side of the Mad Max Racing's Ricky May as they head down into the ARB hairpin for the first of 5 times. So young Boston Morgan Horan in the front. In the last outing, his dad was sitting alongside him in the passenger seat, but this time I think he's all on his own and doing a pretty good job in the supercharged Nissan, one of the super trucks from way back. Number 890, Boston Morgan Horan. He'll be doing double duty because you'll see him in a UTV as well here today. right now he's got this one on a string. Oh, and he's just turned in a little bit early as he comes onto the front straight again. No harm, no foul, and he stays in the front, heading down towards the Mickey Thompson dipper and the CT Civil main straight jump. Plenty of air for the big truck. It's Ricky May through in second place, and it looks like it is Nick Hall in the Vertex Lubricants Pro Light, just in behind Nick Leahy. So the Pro Light second, third and fourth at the moment. We take in the view from the ARB chase drone as they head into the switchbacks once again. So this course is a course of two halves, if you like, flat out and fast in the opening stages, and then it gets a little bit technical. And we trace the steps of the trucks as they work their way through the switchbacks, heading back towards the pit straight now. This is the battle for third, fourth and fifth on your screen. Make that second, third and fourth. Nick Hall just in behind Rick May at the moment. This is the race leader though. Boston Morgan Horan, his dad, Rana of course, no stranger to driving this truck. Now concentrating on his rallying career in the ex-Glenexter Skoda AP4. Pass for position there from Nick Hall in the Vertex Lubricants Pro Light. So he's got up the inside of Rick May to move through into third place now. Ahead of him, a man that he's had a fierce competition with. Oh, and he just kisses the bonnet of Nick Leahy's SCC Pro Light. I don't know that there was too much contact there. Certainly hasn't impeded the progress of Hall. And Leahy will be back into the fray very shortly as well. Just a spin coming into the ARB hairpin, cost him a spot. So Nick Leahy back in fourth place now. Second place Nick Hall. Then we go back to Ricky May. Still out in the front, it is Boston Morgan Horan. There is Bruce McEwen in the Drill Force Pro Light. This is the man in second place. We had so many wins here in our past visits to the Manukau Off-Road Stadium as Nick Hall grew up with off-road racing through his father and through his involvement in the county's Manukau Off-Road Club, and really has come of age in this Vertex Lubricants truck, and he's really starting to monster the way overpowered Nissan of Boston Morgan Horan. You see Hall right there now. The Pro Light restricted to engine size, two-wheel drive. The super truck of Horan also two-wheel drive, but plenty of horsepower, rumoured to have around about 800 horsepower versus about 500. And down the inside comes Nick Hall. Can't make the pass stick, thinks better of it as they head through toward the pit straight jump and back onto the main straight now. But Hall is there, he's ready to pounce. Horan sees it and moves over, impedes the progress as they head up over the main straight jump. Checkered flag comes out, and it is Boston Morgan Horan that holds on. Nick Hall goes across the line in second place. Then it would be Ricky May and Bruce McEwen. Have a look at this on the replay, and you see just kissing the bonnet was Nick Hall after Leahy spun. The standout performer through all of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Series season has been Carl Reutemann, proving he can win from any circumstance in any of his Yamaha UTVs.
Yeah, we brought both cars along, the non-turbo and the turbo, and we're pretty keen to have a crack at both classes today. Yeah, so I've done it before a couple of years ago. Yeah, but I'm not sure. I think they want to run both classes together this time, so yeah, we'll crack out the turbo for this one.
Looking to stop Reutemann's winning streak, a man that knows lots about winning in just about every form of motorsport going, Dainham Templeman. And UTVs have kind of revolutionised the sport here around the world.
Absolutely, I think because they're so widely represented through a lot of brands, and also, you can, one of my crews got one, he goes riding in the forest with it, he goes and does dunes, we've got another one that we use just for trail riding and that. Then you can, modify them and come race them. So they're a very wide, they're tailored for a very wide audience, which is why they're so popular. And if you look at them in America and that, where they've just got a massive following, and you know, you look at the competitiveness of them up there, and that there's just a huge number, and it's something that we can all do here.
Trevor Cooper's been around the off-road scene almost longer than Damon Templeman. Through his famous lotto win, he's been able to partake in all forms of racing, but it's off-roading that drags him back.
Yes, we've had ENH Motors develop the Yamaha 1000 Turbo for us for this season, and we thought we'd debut it today and see how she runs. She's been sitting around for a little bit now, and looking forward to it.
Now, before you became world famous, I mean, you were into off-roaders right from the get-go.
Yeah, family got involved in off-roading in 1983 as O-Range was formed. So I've grown with the sport. I've moved away, done my speedway racing, but always seem to fall back into my passion, off-roading, and loving it.
Sadly for the UTVs, Heat 1 for them was on a track still recovering from the Auckland overnight rain. It was a bit of a mud fest in places. Getting away best of all, the Honda of Matthew Bishop. Also showing out early, Cam Patton in the U18. Carl Reutemann, who had started from the back, was on a charge as well. Reutemann passed Cooper for the lead with 2 to go, but Cooper hang with the champ for the best part of a lap. By the last lap, Reutemann had a big cushion on the rest of the field and took the win easily. By Heat 2, the track had dried out considerably, and off the front went Shane McWatt in U31. As we see from the ARB chasing drone, the racing was close, too close, as Scott Munro and Tony Terrell got together. Here it is on the replay. Just a gentle kiss. It's enough, though, to send Terrell upside down and roundabout. The South Islander would be able to climb from his car unhurt. On the restart, Reutemann used his favourite outside line to good use to get past McWatt for the lead. Now up to third place was Aaron Rodgers. Again, it was a lonely race for Reutemann, flying down the front straight to take the white flag. Meanwhile, again from the drone, the battle for the podium was on, with McWatt, Cam Patton and Brooklyn Horan fighting hard. Reutemann would go through for another easy win. So this is heat number 3 for the UTVs. And on the front row it is Brooklyn Horan. Alongside him, Hamish Stone. Second row is Cam Patton and Tony Terrell. And in the third row it's Aaron Stone and Kenna Baker. Watch out there too for Carl Reutemann. He'll be coming from the back once again as the U89 goes into the front. This is Brooklyn Horan chasing him hard, the U18 of Cam Patton. So 2 divisions of UTVs going at it into the ARB hairpin for the first time, and over goes Brooklyn Horan, and I've got a feeling he did that all on his own. We'll wait and see what happens on the replay. I see he's back on 4 wheels, and that means that the race leader at the moment is the 61 of Hamish Stone. Take the view from the ARB chase drone as a fair bit of rubbing and going on in the racing. Here's the Mickey Thompson replay, just caught up on one of the bigger ruts there, I think, was Brooklyn Horan. There it is from yet a different angle. Lands back on the wheels, so he'll probably keep going, I would imagine. But we get the race restarted. Hamish Stone in the front leads him down to the CT Civil main straight jump and into the Lucas Oils turn. Right alongside him, Aaron Rodgers by the look of it. And Matt Bishop there as well. Bishop in the Honda, remember, and right around the outside comes the New Zealand number 1, and that is Carl Reutemann. Well, he had a much better starting position from the restart, from the actual start of the race, because he started at the very back, and if he's close to the front, you just know with his pedigree, his talent and his ability, he's going to get to the front sooner or later. And there he is as he heads down into the switchbacks once again. The ENH Motors Yamaha of Carl Reutemann. You ride with him here, take the Mickey Thompson pictures as he heads down into the Second place the last time we looked was Matt Bishop. You're back on board here with Reutemann heading on to the front straight once again in complete control of this. There's the S40, Steve Stokes in second place by the look of it, as Reutemann just starts to clear away. There's Cam Patton, U18. And then behind him it might be Stokes. It is Stokes, but look at the lead that Carl Reutemann's got already. There is Stokes. And there is the U31 of Shane McWatt sitting in behind him. And then we go back to Matthew Bishop by the look of it. So that's the order sorted out. Through the ARB hairpin they go. Reutemann leads it. Cam Patton in second, Stokes in third. We take the chase drone once again as we zoom in on the roof of Matthew Bishop. You can see just what the Auckland weather's toll has taken on the race surface. Lots of big ruts start to form as McWatt starts to get a little bit closer to Stokes here. This is the battle for third and fourth on your screen right now. Up ahead of them's Cam Patton. But out in the front, it is the NZ1, and that is Carl Reutemann. There is Patton. There is Stokes and McWatt. And then I think we'd go back to the Honda of Matt Bishop, and in behind him would be U61, one of the early leaders, and that was Hamish Stone. And then it would be Aaron Rodgers. So that's the full complement of them as they head up over the tabletop once again. Nobody's going to deny this man, though. Carl Reutemann on his way to another win. As you ride with him here, down into the switchbacks he goes once again, heading back towards the pit straight now. So smooth. And look at this little battle heading up behind him. This is third, fourth, fifth and sixth on your screen. The only one we're missing there is the U18 of Cam Patton. He's comfortably in second place. There is Stokes, there is McWatt, and there is the U63 of Bishop. Meantime, checkered flag comes out once again, and the first man to see it will be Carl Reutemann, to ride with him as he warms down. Reutemann gets the win. Cam Patton across the line in second place. Then we go back to Steve Stokes. In fourth place it was Shane McWatt, and in fifth place it was Matthew Bishop. The feature saw the age-old battle at the front, North versus South. Keegan Terrell for the South and Matt Bishop for the North. Behind them, U18 Cam Patton, and an amazing start from Carl Reutemann, again starting from the back of the field. Big contact there for Aaron Rodgers into the concrete, and that will bring out the caution, I would think. By lap 3 of the 10, it was Reutemann that led, followed by Bishop in the U63, Steve Stokes and the U31 McWatt. Behind him, Cam Patton in the U18. Out front, as the onboard show, Reutemann was now cruising. The ARB drone picking up the line choices of the New Zealand champion on his way to get another win. As the checkered flag came out, Kenna Baker had avoided being lapped by the man of the moment, Reutemann. Second would be Stokes, and third was Matt Bishop. As another plane load of travellers headed in, the Buggies were heading out onto the stadium track. The up to 1650cc engine-powered NZ Pro Buggies are the fastest of the lot. Also proving fast and hard to catch here at Manukau in his Co-Cell 377, Mike Gibson.
We've got a bit extra competition with a couple of new Class 3s. Tony McCall's coming out to have a bit of a play with us, so we'll see how he runs. But yeah, just more of the same really. Just fight pretty hard and work it out from there, yeah.
My nephew had a little race car, so I said send it up from Christchurch and I'll run it, so I'm here.
Compare the two, I guess there's really no comparison.
You're sort of driving pretty much the same, use a bit more handbrakes in this thing, but I've only done a couple of laps, so we'll see how we go. But it's only a car, isn't it? It's a steering wheel.
And what's the secret to getting around here quickly?
Probably just momentum. Can't get too sideways, got to keep the car really just as straight as possible, try and keep the power onto the ground.
Most of the cars are reasonably the same pace, to be honest. It's just a bit of technique and getting around the corners quicker, but they're all pretty much at the same pace, so it makes it hard to pass.
Another pro buggy or Class 3 car was Rob Woodworth.
This car is more of a enduro car. It's a two-seater, obviously. So most of these guys here are single-seaters at the moment. So we run a fairly stock motor, and it's really good on the enduros. It's good fun. Short course races in the stadiums, we won't be as quick, but it's good fun. Take a passenger, have a bit of fun, enjoy the day.
A racer that the rest of the pro buggy field will be trying to keep in sight is the vastly experienced Lindsay Poynton.
Well, this is an American stadium car that ran the Mickey Thompson series, and it won it in its last outing. And they were way ahead of their time back then. And sure, things have advanced hugely in the last 10 years even in the sport. So, yeah, it's still competitive in this type of racing for sure.
In Heat 1 of the NZ Pro Buggy, it was the two legends of the sport on the front row, Tony McCall in the 327 and Poynton in the 355. Going over the tabletop, Poynton now had an edge over many times New Zealand champion McCall, with Taranaki's Brendan Auld in the picture as well. By lap 3 of 5, all had changed. Gone from the front was Poynton, replaced by McCall and Auld. This was the second outing for McCall in the Class 3 car, the last one ruined by mechanical gremlins. The heavy track was taking its toll on everyone, and when McCall drifted wide through one, left an opening for Auld, and he took it. That move giving Auld the first heat win. Heat 2 saw Mike Gibson and Rob Woodworth off the front row, heading into the Lucas Oil Turn 1. Gibson going round the outside and into the lead, with Tony McCall and Brendan Auld getting together again in third and fourth. Gibson held his lead, but the battle raged on behind him between McCall and Auld, with Lindsay Poynton ready to pick up the scraps. Heading back towards the pit straight, the top three could see each other, but it was Gibson still in number one. Coming out of the ARB hairpin, McCall went wide and Auld was through. Now, did he have enough time to catch Gibson? On the last lap, Auld was closing fast, but it would be Gibson that was hold on for the win from Auld, McCall and Poynton. So this is the third and final heat for the NZ Pro Buggies. 5 laps to decide grid positions for the feature. Mark Goldston and Brendan Auld on the front row. Conor Nicklin and Rob Woodworth on row number 2. Gibson and Marwood on 3. And Tony Atwood and Lindsay Poynton on row number 4 into turn number 1. And down the inside goes Goldston. He'll lead it. Great start too from Conor Nicklin. That's him up into second place now. Now he's been replaced by Brendan Auld. Trying to get around the outside of Auld is Mike Gibson. Gibson running just a little bit wide, and that's allowed Nicklin back into the fight as we're on board here with Brendan Auld. So close quarters racing as they head down into the switchback. The race leader is Goldston. Let's get a good look there at the bodywork of Ed Heiston's Class 10 buggy. Meantime, at the front of the field, still Goldston in the front. Nicklin pressuring hard as they work their way through the left-right switchbacks, heading back towards the pit straight now. Brendan Auld in there, Gibson as well. Poynton in fifth spot. As we take the action from the ARB chase drone, back on board here with Brendan Auld. That's Mike Gibson in behind him. He's currently trying to keep Mark Goldston in sight as they head back onto the front straight. Now, drying conditions means that these cars will be heading close to 100 miles an hour by the time they get onto the brakes and head down into the Lucas Oil Turn. And there is the battle unfolding in front of Mike Gibson. So Goldston leads it, Nicklin in second place. Oh, Nicklin coming to a bit of a halt, and Auld nearly running into the back of him. That gets him involved with Ed Heiston in the BSL built Ian Foster designed Class 10 car. Remember that Ian Foster designed and built that car in his garage. He had the plans chalked out on his garage floor for a long, long time. Foster, another one of the legends of the sport. How close do they want to go here? Heiston trying to get around the outside of Old, manages to do so. Now he snuggles up to the back of Lindsay Poynton. This is a battle for the minors. Out in the front, it is still Goldstone from Connor Nicklin in second. There is Goldstone back onto the front straight once again. You're on board here with Mike Gibson into the Mickey Thompson dipper. Up and over the top of the CT Civil jump. Bit of a front end landing, a harsh landing too for the 377 of Gibson. Gets him a little bit closer to Goldstone as they head down into the ARB hairpin once again. There is Nicklin, there is Ed Eyston. In fact, it's Lindsay Poynton just ahead of Ed Eyston, and then we go back to Brendan Old. So Old maybe has a bit of an issue there because he's dropped back. He's just a fraction off the pace of these guys as we ride here with Mike Gibson. Up and over the switchbacks they come, heading back towards the pit straight. Gibson in second place, out in front, still Goldstone. Been that way since the lights went out. Remember, the grid positions decided for the feature event by the top point scorer in the heats. And just like in the Speedway, it's the top point scorers off the back. On board here once again, taking the Mickey Thompson pictures. Over the pit straight jump goes Mike Gibson in the Cosel NZ Pro Buggy. Good performance coming in from Ed Heiston there to be ahead of some of the normal quicker cars. There's Brendan Old. I mentioned him being one of the normal quicker cars, but he's having a devil's own job getting around Heiston as they work their way through the Lucas Oil's turn number 1, and out over the tabletop they go once again. Got one car, I think that's Connor Nicklin, stopped on the inside of the racetrack. The officials will be having a look at that. They may deem that to be in a dangerous spot and they may want to get that one moved. We'll keep an eye on it as we zoom on here on the 1082 of Ed Heiston. Kawasaki powered Buckley Services, Scott Buckley designed off-roader. Right in behind him it's Taranaki's Brendan Old. Back on board here with Gibson, currently sitting in second place. If anything, Goldstone just heading over the pit straight jump. It's getting away from him a little bit here. So there's Goldstone onto the front straight. Last lap board out, white flag out for Mark Goldstone. You're back on board here with Brendan Old. Still having that battle royal with Ed Heiston. Can't get away from Heiston's, got around him but just can't get away from him for the moment as they head up over the tabletop as well. That's a battle further down through the field into the ARB hairpin they go. So that's third and fourth on your screen at the moment, and in fifth place it'd be Lindsay Poynton. Back on board here with Brendan Old. Behind him it is Ed Heiston. This is the race leader though, into the switchbacks for the last time. Racing to the checkered flag is Mark Goldstone, about to record his first win in the NZ Pro Buggy heats. Mike Gibson in second place. He's got nothing for Goldstone at the moment. That advantage has been static for the last couple of laps, and Goldstone's going to come through and win this and win it well. Onto the front straight for the last time comes Mark Goldstone, and he will see the checkered flag first. He gets the win. And in second place it's going to be Gibson, or is it going to be Old? Oh, it was a late charge from Old, but I think Gibson got there. Brendan Old goes across the line in third, and then it was Ed Heiston and Lindsay Poynton. And that's the way the judges saw it as well. So Goldstone gets the win from Mike Gibson in the third and final NZ Pro Buggy heat. The CT Civil Challengers and the Lucas Oil Lights were joined by the Superbug of Aaron Crabb for Heat 1. They're heading into the ARB hairpin. It was Holly Russell in the Lucas Oil Light that took the lead. Russell extended the lead through the first turn, and victory was looking a certainty. The big mover though was Aaron Medlock Hogg in Salty Rebel, passing the C04 of Steve Hughes. Russell would go on to win, but there was real drama behind. Medlock Hogg's car bursting into flames on the last lap. Heat 2 again saw Crabb off the front in the 700, alongside Russell in the 551. second was the challenger, Bryce McCall, as they headed to the tabletop. Onto the switchbacks, and McCall was really taking the fight to Russell, with the challenger holding a fleeting lead. Back onto the front straight, and they were again neck and neck when the red lights came on. On the restart, it was McCall who got the drop on Russell, but picking both McCall and Russell's pockets was Matthew Bishop in the C63. His next target was Bryce McCall. He made the winning pass on the pit straight and would go on to win from Russell. In Heat 3, it was Holly Russell that was in the front early, followed by Aaron Crabb in the 700 and Bishop in the C63. Serena Patterson brought out the caution flags and the race was stopped. Come the restart, and the battle we had seen before was on again. Russell on Bishop. On the last lap, Russell still held the lead, but it looked like Bishop was closing. Into the switchbacks for the last time, and Bishop had closed up the gap, but was it enough? Down the front straight for the last time, Russell had a small edge. It was good enough to hold on to the win, with Bishop breathing down her neck. The NZ Buggy feature had all three buggy classes together, with the Pro Buggy starting from the back. Pro Buggies were fighting with each other. Here, McCall trying to get around Rob Woodworth and the challenger of Serena Patterson. An early spin for Bishop as the field thundered toward the tabletop. McCall was heading into the front, ahead of him the C14 of Steve Hughes. Into the switchbacks, and the order was Hughes, McCall, Russell, Woodworth and Ed Heiston. McCall, now in the front, was being chased by Russell, with the green meanie Brendan Old closing them both down. By lap 2, Old had passed Russell and now closed on McCall. As the ARB drone shows, the gaps were closing at the front. A missed gear or a mechanical issue in the end made the pass look easy for Old on McCall. By lap 4, McCall was back in the fight. The tables had turned and he was now chasing Old, using the lack traffic to get him back. As they headed into the switchbacks, the gaps had closed even further, and McCall was now hunting his prey. And as they turned into the 180-degree left-hander, McCall passed Old and got the front running back. Old had further closed the gap once again and was now stalking McCall. So on board here with Matthew Bishop, just to be about to be lapped by Tony McCall. Meantime, Ed Heiston and Mark Goldstone were going at it like it was the World Championships for the minor placings. This little spin costing Goldstone any chance. Old had got back past McCall and was doing what he was good at, ticking the laps off and taking the win. If you're just a youngster and have a hankering to race off-road, then the Hydrovac Kiwi trucks could be for you. With 2 classes today, the Class J lawnmower engine-powered truck, the perfect introduction, and the more modified Class M powered by motorcycle engines. They race together here at Manukau, and the interclass scraps are always close. Running on the shorter track at the stadium, the competition is equally close. M54 is Asher Morgan, and he led Heat 1. On the last lap, the only company he had was from Lap Trucks. He would take the win easily. Heat 2 saw Zach Robery in the front over the tabletop, with Jack Rice and Asher Morgan there as well. Morgan and Luke Robery have history here. At the last meeting, contact set the M58 into a series of rolls. And now it was Robery chasing Morgan down. But this mechanical stopped him in his tracks. Morgan now had the race in hand. Again, just lapped traffic for company. He would take the win and make it 2 for 2. So this is heat number 3 for the Carlton Party Hire Pro 4s, the Repco Pro 2s and the Cooper Tyres Lights and the Federal Tyres Pro 1s. And a split grid start too. So the trucks start first and in the background it will be the 2 Pro 1 buggies, Justin Davies and Paul Ayres. Out in the front it is Ricky May in second place, Nick Hall, and just getting a little bit sideways coming off the Lucas Oil's turn. That was Bruce McEwen in the Drill Force Pro Light. You're on board here with Nick Hall, probably the winningest driver here at the Manukau Stadium, currently sitting in second place behind Mad Max Racing's Rick May. Into the switchbacks they go, and getting very wide coming out of that left-hander was Bryce McEwen. Right in behind him is Nick Leahy in the SCC Pro Light. So the Pro Lights to the 4 in this one. Back on board here with Nick Hall trying to chase down Rick May. Rick May doing a pretty good job of holding him off as they head towards the pit straight jump and out onto the front straight here. Remember the heat races are 5 laps in duration, so it all happens pretty darn quickly. Features still to come here at Manukau. Mickey Thompson bring you the stadium off-road season as it comes to a close here. Hall trying to look on the outside this time as they head down into the ARB hairpin. Can't get the job done, but then Rick May just runs a little bit wide and Hall's right up under the back of the Mad Max Racing Pro Light. Just giving him a bit of a love tap as they work their way back into the switchbacks again. Once again, busy at the wheel is Nick Hall as he closes up the gap once more. Maybe a little bit of a tag there for Rick May. And if anything, it looked like Nick Hall came off a little bit second best in that one. And he's got to regroup and take the attack again. Another tag from Hall on May as they work their way back towards the pit straight. This time down the inside comes Hall. Can he make it stick there? No, he can't. Over the pit straight jump, and May holds on to it. Down the front straight they come now. And if anything, Rick May starts to get away as they come over the main straight jump. It's the Mad Max Racing Pro Light in the front. It's Nick Hall in second place. It is Bruce McEwen in third in the Drill Force Pro Light. Oh, way too sideways coming out of the Lucas Oil turn was the opening that this man needed, and Nick Hall goes straight into the front in the Vertex Lubricants Pro Light. May through in second place, but now being monstered by Bruce McEwen. That's the battle for second and third as we zoom in on the race leader. There is May. And spinning backwards into the corner goes Bruce McEwen. So that will bring out the yellow flags, I would think. I think it'll be just localised if McEwen can get going again. There's the first chance we get to look at the buggies, and I can tell it's Justin Davies leading Paul Ayres at the moment. On board here with Nick Leahy. He's now up into 3rd spot. Make it 4th spot, because just up ahead of him is Paul Ayres in the Federal Tyres Pro 1 buggy. Race leader comes over the main straight jump once again. This is Nick Hall in command of this one. 2nd place, and it's a distance. 2nd place now would be Rick May, and in 3rd place it may now be Justin Davies. He might have made his way from the back of the field up into 3rd. Back on board here with McEwen in the Drill Force Pro Light. We take the action from the ARB Chase drone as they work their way down into the switchbacks. You're on board here with Leigh, looking into the face of the young man. Got his off-roading career started in the Challenger class, ex-motocross racer. There is a good look at the N&H Wood sponsored Justin Davies, and he's ahead of Leahy now. So they've both got ahead of Paul Ayres in the 2nd of the Class 1 buggies, and that is the 169. Back on board with the race leader, Nick Hall. Getting a little bit sideways in the air as he goes up over the pit straight jump, now heading toward the main straight jump once again. Checkered flag comes out, and the 3rd and final heat for the buggies and the trucks comes to an end, and Nick Hall will be rewarded not only with the win but a rear place starting in the feature event. So Hall gets the job done in the 3rd and final heat of the Carlton Party Hire Cooper Tyres, Federal Tyres, Pro Lights, Pro 2s, Pro 4s. Here's the replay of the winning pass. No contact made, as you see on the Mickey Thompson replay, between Hall and May. Spinning out of contention was Bruce McEwen, and nose down landing there for Paul Ayres as we get the feature event underway. Ayres is in all sorts of trouble, lucky to keep it off the concrete, but that's gifted the front running to Justin Davies. That's him out in the front at the moment. The N&J Wood Tyre Shop Waiuku Class 1 buggy. Justin, another one, started in the lower classes, off-road racing, started in the Challenger, moved up to Class 3, was a winner in the Class 3 buggy, now driving Dad's Class 1. Dad, of course, Curly Davies, one of the characters of the off-roading scene. So this is the battle for 2nd and 3rd on your screen at the moment. Round the outside through the ARB hairpin goes Nick Leahy. Does he get the job done? Yes, he does, because Justin Davies maybe turned in just a little bit too soon. Take the action from the ARB chase drone, and already the gaps start to open out as Leahy gets away. Meantime, the battle for the minors, the Drill Force Pro Light of Bruce McEwen. Right in behind him, Mad Max Racing, Rick May. Once again, we take the action from the ARB chase drone. Down into the switchbacks they go once again. Ricky May just getting a little bit closer, but for the moment it's the Drill Force truck holding the advantage. This time it's the time for Rick May to get a little bit sideways, and that's thrown away the advantage, but that's thrown it away even more, and down the inside comes Rick May for position. So once again, the Spinning Devils are on the shoulder of Bruce McEwen in the Drill Force truck. This is the race leader, though, all out on his lonesome as the laps wind down in the feature event here at the Manukau Off-Road Stadium. Checkered flag comes out for Nick Hall. He wins it. And here are the overall winners from the day's racing in all the classes we've seen today. Well, that does conclude the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Championship season, but there's plenty more off-road action to catch up on. Have a look at the website for the county's Manukau Off-Road Racing Club, and you'll be able to see the details there.